And she said, hey, Rainn, you know, I was talking to James. They're still like really good friends and very close. She was like, I was speaking to James the other night, and I said, James, how come you never did that movie Super? And he had written this script like 6 or 7 years ago. And he said, well, I couldn't think of anyone to play the lead. And she was like, what about Rainn? And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. So he sent me the script, and I went over to my Dwight computer and clicked it open on the Internet Explorer, and I sent it over to the office, and they printed it out, and I read it in my trailer, and I texted James when I was about 22 pages in, and I said, I'm in, I totally want to do this movie, I love it, my hands are trembling. Because I just knew, just reading the beginning of it, I was like, oh, this is exactly the kind of thing I want to do. It's so fucked up. And it's funny, and it's sad, and it's weird, and it's kind of a horror film. And it's, you know what I mean? You can't put your finger on what kind of movie this is, which I think is really cool, because it's like, it just veers from just violence to insane humor to romance to heartfelt stuff, and you know, it's kind of like life, I think, but not really. But that's how it came about.
Did you ever feel as if you were maybe taking too many chances? I know that there's a tendency, as we were discussing outside, for studios to encourage a PG-13 rating, but this is, I would not only say an R-rated movie, this is a hard R.
This is it's literally unrated. This is an unrated film. We didn't go through the ratings process. I don't know what that means, but see if there's anyone here underage. No, you guys all look age appropriate. That's good. Yeah, no, I mean, this is an independent film. This is a very low budget film. We made it for under $3 million. We shot the whole thing in 21 days. It really was a labor of love. Everyone involved took just minimum scale. So we didn't have to work with the studios in that regard. So we just, made the movie that we wanted to make. And that was wanted to make a really messed up ride. And that's what we did.
Now, do you feel like, when you come to something like WonderCon and, it's surrounded by all these 3D, big budget, big superhero adventures, does Frank feel a little bit like an underdog, not only in the cinematic world, but in the context of the story?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Do you feel as if the movie...
Did you understand the question?
Kind of.
Okay.
I think so.
Something about Frank, underdog, WonderCon.
Well, do you feel as if the movie itself is a little bit of an underdog when it's surrounded by these giants with all these big
yeah,
budgets?
Totally. I mean, this film is a total underdog. Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough marketplace out there for films. It's really hard. The only movies that really are making any money are like, animated kids films that take 3 to 4 years to make, the Pixar movies, and then the big tentpole movies, the Transformers 3 will make about $1 zillion, and Hangover 2 is going to make a ton of money and stuff like that. But there's not, there's all these great films that come out that the whole landscape has changed. People aren't really going to the movie theaters anymore, and they're downloading more, and they're streaming more, and it's all shifting. So it's a weird thing to have this little movie and being out promoting it, but we really feel like it is an underdog movie. And a movie like this is really helped by your word of mouth and putting it up on your Facebook page or your Twitter or whatever, and letting your friends know if you liked it. If you didn't, then just shut up. Shut up, crime. But it's really about word of mouth and spreading the word. It's just coming out in a handful of theaters and kind of sneaking out around the country that way.
Now, and getting to Frank's underdog status, it seems like you often play an underdog or a misfit. Are you concerned about being typecast in that role, or is that a role that you feel comfortable in?
No, I totally feel comfortable about that. James Gunn always says, you know, this is a movie he made for all the misfits and the rebels and the losers and the weirdos and the freaks, and I fit right into that demographic. So I feel like I'm never gonna play a popular guy. You know, I'm never gonna play a popular, handsome guy who's well balanced and fits in, because it's just not. It's not what I do. You know, it's just not. It's not my thing. I don't feel that way. I don't identify with those characters. So I think it's a blast to play the outsiders in whatever way, shape, or form. And I'm always drawn to those kind of characters. I'll probably play in my whole life. So.
Okay. Before I ask another nonsensical question, I figured I would open it up to you guys. So does anyone have a question?
Hi. First of all, you should really be using Firefox or Chrome instead of Internet Explorer.
Thank you. Thank you.
But so I think out of any comedic actor, you are truly a storyteller.
The best in the world. The very, very best in the world.
Yes. And so how do you feel about storytelling? How does it, storytelling?
Yeah. You feel that I'm a storyteller. How do I feel about storytelling?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you. Here's a little story. There was once a cook named Frank. Yeah, I think that's what actors are. You know, I think that I think storytelling is the most ancient, human art form. Back when we were drawing bisons on the caves in France, we were, just going around fires and telling stories to each other, and that's what we did here. We told a story in a new and a different way, but I think that's what actors do, and I think that's what it's all about. I think humans have loved to hear stories as long as they've been around, the ancient Greeks, and I think that's what makes it fun.